On behalf of all at the Tralee International Resource Centre and the people of Tralee, I warmly welcome you as our President and our special guest. I thank you for honouring us by being present today as we celebrate the many faces of Africa. We are very proud here in Tralee, and in particular this centre, that you have so generously given of your time to join us. It is a great day for the town of Tralee to have our President amongst us, but particularly a huge honour for our African community, for whom today is all about. It is no secret that you are the greatest advocate of human rights this country has ever seen, and your tireless work for the poor, the dispossessed and the marginalised has inspired generations of Irish activists. And I quote from your inaugural speech when you spoke these very inspiring and unforgettable words. I also recognise the will of all of our people to move beyond anger, frustration or cynicism, and to draw on our shared strengths, to close the chapter on that which has failed, that which was not the best version of ourselves as a people, and open a new chapter based on a different version of our Irishness. And this is what we here at the Tralee International Resource Centre is striving towards. We are striving towards integration, inclusion, acceptance and equality. We are fostering the new links that we have made with our African and international communities here in Tralee. And our international communities are reaching out to us to accept them and nurture them, but above all to help them to simply fit in. Today, as we celebrate the many faces of Africa, we also celebrate and embrace the changing faces of Ireland. Thank you.
Maybe somewhere in between, I seem a little different, we don't really care, 'cause what matters most can't be seen. You're my brother, you're my sister, more than just friends. We're a kind of family with no end, united we will sing. We're all children of the world, children of the world. We're all children of the world, and we carry the future with us.
The many faces of Africa to the event that you, as the Tralee International Resource Centre, are organising for your celebrations of Africa Day. Now, I believe you couldn't have picked a better title, because from time to time, when in my other life I would represent probably between 70 and 80% of all of the African families who came to Galway on the west coast, but sometimes talking about Africa, and I've visited different parts of Africa, people get the impression that it is one similar place, rather than the extraordinary continent that it is. with different histories, different natural resources, different peoples, and if people only realized it as well, tens of thousands of languages, some of which are dying and some of which are being sustained. And one of the encouragements I would like to say on Africa Day to the African people who have come and are providing such a vital contribution to our own community is to encourage them to speak of these differences that I speak, to speak not them as divisive differences, but as different resources. It makes a huge difference, as we would say. After a while, the Irish who went to the United States, you know, after the 1.8 million of them immediately after the famine, they would very rarely say that they were from Ireland, that they were among their own. They would say, I'm from Kerry, or I'm from Clare, whatever. So we can assume that most people know that you've come from Africa, if you've come from Africa. And we get on with the story of you telling us more. And the stories that you have to tell are valuable resources for our people into the future. So that this tapestry that we are making together for the future will include not only our own recovered stories in Irish and in English, and the stories from the Irish abroad, but the stories from Africa too, and of those who have come to live here. I think as well, you must excuse me, I have a chest infection just at the moment, which is passing. But I wanted to say the most recent contacts I've had with Africa are often ones that have been very traumatic. I was in Somalia during the famine, and I often think of the experiences of that particular time. And when I think, and in the introduction to me, somebody said, it is the same planet that we all share. It is a vulnerable planet, and the actions in one part of our planet have an effect on the other. There are people who are pastoralists in part of Africa who are affected by climate change, maybe more than anybody else as their animals go. The desertification that takes place affects them. And then there are others, as populations increase, who are flooding to African cities which create their own problems. But all of these people we share the planet with are our fellow human beings. And I often think too now, in relation to the conflicts that are taking place, which would break anybody's heart, is that a very long time, for a long time, the Irish relationship with Africa might have been through missionaries or through humanitarian work. And very often it would have been about providing basic needs and developing education. My wife's sister spent 27 years in Somalia. Her brother almost as long in Kenya. I have seen what it means when a class begins to meet under the mango tree, as well as southern Uganda, and the people bring bricks and a school is made and so forth. It is awfully important that the forward movement of Africa continue. But it is also important to realize we will always be moving in different parts of our planet, and we should always be welcome where we go. We come with a whisper, and we listen to others, and they in turn listen to us, and we all become rich as a result. I think it is in Africa Day that I am so pleased is being celebrated. There are at the present time more than 41,000 Africans who say that who gave an answer to the census in relation to nationality, who said that they are now living in Ireland. And that's an increase of over 18% in the last 5 years. I think that what we have found is that as Ireland becomes a more diverse society, one of the things I want to say, because I was 14 months on the road in a presidential campaign, and since my inauguration in November I visited many schools. You should all be proud of the sheer natural way young children accept people from different backgrounds and different diversity. It's one of the great resources we have. we want to let our children to learn and play together and share sport and share learning of languages and dance and celebrate. We could learn from children about the naturalness with which they do that. And I said in my inaugural speech that I hoped my presidency, and I can assure you it will be, an inclusive citizenship. You know, I sometimes wonder, I stay out of policy now, but I have often been concerned when I was a TD dealing with humanitarian leave to remain, Section 21s and family reunifications and all of the rest of it. And I met these women that I had seen, many women I had seen in Africa prepare meals in their own way, in conditions that didn't allow them to prepare meals, or even structure the relationships with their children and their partners in a way that took account of where they had come from. I hope that all this will change. I hope as well, I was always concerned about what happens if you are in a strange place for a long time without much discretion and your health goes and then you find yourself attending for medical treatment or whatever. These are all issues we must address, and we must realize that new people among us. It's very, very interesting. When the famine hit Ireland and people went to Boston, there had been a wave before the famine who are now very secure. And then a tsunami of people arrived after the famine. And they weren't so acceptable to the people who had gone before. There are lessons that all of our relations in America and Australia and New Zealand learned as immigrants. I often hope that they bear that in mind when we are talking about Ireland here. Isn't it very good that we've had such a great day for Africa Day?
Rich in culture. I am proud. I am able. I am a legend. I can be anything I want to be, for I am African. My charm, my music, my art, my poetry transcends the local stage. Hugh Masekela, Fela Kuti, Manu Dibango, Mariam Makiba, Baba Mal, Yusuf Njio, Angela Kijo, their artistry reflects me. I am sought all over for my talent. I am celebrated worldwide for my skills. In medicine, law, teaching, in art, science and technology, in sports. My history is filled with great people who have changed the world's thinking. Kwame Nkrumah, Anwar Sadat, Wangari Maathai, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Wole Soyinka, Barack Obama, and Mandiba, the celebrated Nelson Mandela. Their genius reflects me, for I am African. I perform, I compete, I excel.